Welcome, I'm Cassandra, and this is your general and love forecast for April 2018. This is for Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. I'd like to take a moment to let you guys know that this is a general reading for the masses. So sometimes part of it can resonate, sometimes all of it will resonate, and sometimes it won't resonate at all. Now, it's because this is for mass consumption. It's not going to resonate the same way that a actual personal reading would. And I've just been very concerned as I noticed that some people tend to be making very big life decisions based off of general readings. So that concerns me a bit. I just want to make sure that no one is taking energy on that they shouldn't be, okay? Some people have some people are very suggestible, and they just look at a reading and they think, okay, well, this is my month, this is my life for the next month, and that's not necessarily the case. So if the first 5 cards do not resonate at all with you or your situations, then, maybe move on to the next reading. Typically, I tend to, when I read, I tend to speak to the people that are going through some pretty rough times and difficulties, and they're, needing this advice. So if everything's going great in your life, then I may not be the reader for you, I tend to deal with people's traumas and the difficult things that they're going through. So just want to make sure that you don't take on some energy that's not necessarily for you. So again, if the first 5 cards, top row, if they do not resonate with you or your situation, then yeah, definitely switch to another video. Okay, all right, let's jump into this. Okay, for our first card, we have the 4 of Wands. This is for Pisces Sun, Pisces Moon, Pisces Rising. So the 4 of Wands, this is celebrations. This is happy times within your home. This could be family happiness. Some of you could have potentially recently gotten a new home. Maybe there's something that's occurred that's brought happiness to the home. But overall, there is, family happiness, and there is a reason to celebrate as well. And, some of you, a few of you could actually have recently brought in a child home. Yeah. So that'll resonate with a couple of you. Now, anytime I see the 4 of Wands, whether it's in the upright or the reverse position, I always want to place an emphasis on let's be grateful for every single blessing that we have in our life. It's a time to definitely take stock and to be grateful and thankful for what you do have. Now, I've had many pessimistic people that are literally writing emails, writing comments that, they act like there is no hope whatsoever, that they have no way out, they're completely stuck, life's against them, circumstances are against them, they're just complete victims to everything. And they fail to see that there are many blessings. If you're alive and breathing, that's a blessing. If you're eating dinner tonight, that's a blessing. If you have children, that's a blessing. Sometimes they don't always feel like a blessing, especially when they're acting like brats, but it is a blessing regardless. Not everybody can have children, so this is really a card of more taking stock and being very appreciative, grateful, and thankful for what you do have. And also, when we get into this frame of mind, you know, the attitude of gratitude, when we're focused on what we do have and being grateful and thankful for it, this can actually attract more things into our life to be grateful and thankful about. Okay. Sorry, I know I kind of went off on my own little speech there, but you know, a lot of people need to be reminded of this, you know. I have to remind myself from time to time, you know, we're all human. Okay, so it is clarified by the Page of Cups. So, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, this could be a younger person or a child in your life, but honestly, I'm going to class this more as you because this is the card for you, okay? For all of you. So, this is also about receiving romantic messages, but also about receiving encouraging messages, messages of hope. You know, a lot of times the Page of Cups will extend, you know, help or opportunities. So perhaps someone has encouraged you recently, or perhaps someone has, you know, reached out to you and sent you some sort of romantic messages or communications, or perhaps you have. Maybe you've sent out some communications, you know, of a romantic nature. Maybe you are encouraging other people. Maybe you're trying to help other people. Or this could be a younger person in your life, but again, I want to classify this more as you. So, but the Page of Cups is very intuitive. Typically, I classify Page of Cups as Pisces, so to me, this just seems like Pisces, you know. But yeah, I mean, let's focus on messages of being grateful. Okay. So this would be the circumstances position. So we have the Nine of Cups in the reverse position. So this could be indicating that perhaps maybe you might have had a wish that you've wanted to come true. And maybe it just didn't happen. Now, sometimes we can receive a partial wish where we receive part of it, but not the entire wish. You know, so that can definitely leave one feeling, you know, a bit shortchanged, so to speak. But this card also could indicate that there could be a bit of an issue with overindulgence. So do be careful when it comes to overindulging in, you know, alcohol or, you know, recreational drugs, even prescription medication. We don't want to be escaping all the time. With Pisces energy, you guys are able to do this without drugs, so but unfortunately sometimes, you know, substance abuse can be an issue. I just want to make sure that, you know, you guys try to curb it if you are experiencing any of these issues. You know, try to get a handle on it, because this can cause many problems, obviously. Now, this can also indicate that perhaps maybe you've been relying on wishful type of thinking. And, well, that doesn't do us much good, because we can wish away for just about anything, but, you know, belief and faith is absolutely useless without action. So, you know, we can't just simply wish things into being. I mean, sometimes we can, but for the most part, most of those wishes, you're actually going to have to get your hands dirty. You're going to have to do some work, so to speak. Okay, so to clarify, we have Temperance in the reversed position. So this is indicating that the emotions are definitely in control. So we are not balanced. And we need to bring ourselves into balance so that we can, have our intellect and our emotions. Because when our emotions are in control, then there is a tendency for us to make our decisions and our life decisions based off of our emotions in the moment. And that could end up being a bad thing in the long run. Now, sometimes this card can be indicating that perhaps you might be a little impatient. Maybe you're being impatient because you want this wish. But, are you just having wishful thinking, or are you actually trying to make it happen? If you're just wishing for it to happen, getting impatient isn't going to help anything. You got to get out there and you got to start doing some actual work, some actual action to make it happen. So this card is about impatience. It's also about intolerance. So you want to make sure that you're not being intolerant of others, and you don't want to be intolerant of other people's viewpoints either, as that can cause a lot of unnecessary friction. A lot of times people may be trying to speak to you about how they feel, or about, what's wrong, or what they think, and with the Temperance in reverse, it's like you don't want to hear it. But we really need to take a step back because we need to hear it. We need to cooperate with others. And for some of you, you may need to cooperate with others in order to get this wish. And if you're being difficult and intolerant, then you just will end up pushing this wish further away from you. Now, another aspect to this card is, sometimes we have a tendency to rush. We want something like right now. We wanted it yesterday. We wanted it last month, I want it now. Impatience, So, and I always like to say, we need to slow down and smell the roses when I see Temperance in reverse, because there's a tendency to just speed right through things because you want to get things done. But what you don't realize is when you speed right past everything, you're actually missing some very valuable opportunities. And you're none the wiser because you're just speeding right through, so you don't even see them. And that's why I say slow down and smell the roses. Slow down and admire the beauty, of this earth, Just slow down in general. Try to not rush, because opportunities will present themselves, and you could be missing many opportunities by just trying to hurry up and get something done. Maybe whatever you wished for is not exactly what the universe thinks is, best for you. Maybe the universe has something better in store for you. But we're not going to be able to see it if we're rushing right past everything and we're just in a hurry and being impatient. So slow down, and you definitely want to cooperate with others, especially if you happen to work on a team. You definitely need to be very careful. We need to listen to others. We need to have respect for others' opinions. We need to have respect for other people's skills. We have skills, but other people have skills as well. So we just need to be more open to that. But overall, I feel that you guys are just wanting this wish and you're getting impatient about it. But again, maybe the universe has something better for you, but we need to slow down so that we can see it. Okay, so this would be the focus position. Now we have the Sun card here. So the Sun, this is actually a beautiful card. I love the optimism of the Sun. Now, a lot of times this can indicate that, perhaps there is happiness within a romantic relationship. For some, this could indicate, getting married. For some of you, this could just simply indicate, the start of a relationship. This can also include, maybe you might have had a change of residence. You might have moved. Some of you might have actually had a home built or bought a home recently. So happiness surrounds this card. Excuse me. But it definitely brings happiness and things to be happy about. And this could also include education. Some of you might have gotten back into school, or some of you could have graduated recently. But overall, relationships and changes of residence is more what springs to my mind for your guys' reading. So, okay, so we clarify it, and we have the Seven of Wands. So with this card, this is about stiff competition. So you're definitely prepared to take on any type of competition that comes your way. Now, another aspect to this card is sometimes it can feel like something or someone is an enemy. So, if you see this young man, he's definitely got a defensive stance. He's ready to take the other people on if he needs to. He's got 6 people against him and it's just him, but he's ready, willing, and able to fight for his place. So, now this could be stiff competition, in personal matters, or this could be stiff competition in regards to, work. So it can go either way. But overall, with these two combined, it definitely seems to me like whatever you worked for, whether it was your relationship or your home or graduating, whatever it might be, you accomplished, and perhaps you had to go up against stiff competition, but overall you succeeded. So much happiness surrounds this. But again, there's always a bit of a feeling that, something or someone could be an enemy. But you were able to hold your own, so, don't get too concerned on that particular issue. Okay, so this position is your recent past, or the energy that is currently passing. So we have the Four of Swords in the reverse position. So it looks like you guys had a period where you had retreated, you withdrew. Perhaps you guys might have maybe had some conflicts with someone. Maybe you took a time out. Maybe you guys solved your problem. Or maybe you could have had a conflict with someone and then you took a time out, kind of like a temporary truce. And this could be indicating that, now that you have taken a break, you've withdrawn, you've gave yourself time to collect yourself, and now you're ready to face this particular situation, this particular battle or conflict. You're ready to go. Now, For a few of you, this could indicate that you might have had surgery, and if so, this would indicate that you are definitely healing from that surgery. You know, this could also indicate that perhaps some of you have taken a vacation here in your recent past and you have returned. And if you didn't take an actual physical vacation, then maybe some of you guys had just withdrew and, pulled yourself back, from society a little bit. Just taking some time to yourself to, rest, recover, to collect your thoughts. But you've come out of it and you're ready to face things as they are. So we clarify, and we have the Hermit. So the Hermit is definitely about going within and essentially listening to our higher mind, or you could call it your intuition, your subconscious mind. But this is definitely about going with the Hermit is very introspective. Very introspective and very wise. And so, typically our subconscious mind has all of the answers we could ever need. Whatever question you may have, our subconscious mind already knows the answer to it. And so the Hermit's basically saying you need to go within, you need to reflect, you need to introspect, because all the answers that you seek are within. Now, occasionally this can indicate that you might get some counsel, some advice from an outside source. But this advice that you received definitely would have been good advice. It would have been, wise advice to follow. And, the Four of Swords in reverse with the Hermit. So, yeah, definitely a lot of you guys probably had a period where you withdrew, wanting to be alone so that you could gather your thoughts and to recover and recuperate. And going within to listen to your higher mind. But a conflict of some sort probably is what set this into motion. It could have been a personal, internal type of conflict, or it could have been a conflict with someone else. But either way, a conflict of some sort is definitely what started the process. Okay, now this is the present, the here and the now energy. So we have the Ace of Cups in the reverse position. So, wow. Is this you, Pisces? The Ace of Cups in reverse, this can definitely be someone who is insecure, especially regarding, relationships, especially if it's a new relationship. Now, before I get too deep into interpretations here, let me just explain that this particular energy here, this could be the energy that you're experiencing yourself, or this could be energy of someone else that you're dealing with. So if you're in a relationship, you might be in a relationship that's new, and the other person could be, very insecure about it. Maybe they've been hurt a lot. Maybe they have a hard time trusting and being vulnerable with their emotions, so, but this can be you too. So you'll know which side of the coin you fall on, so to speak. Now, sometimes this can indicate that, you might be feeling a bit insecure, especially if there is a new relationship that has occurred. You might be feeling insecure. Sometimes this can also indicate that this may be a bit of a rocky start in the beginning of the relationship. Yeah, pretty rocky. It doesn't mean that it's absolutely doomed. It just means that it could be a pretty rough beginning. Honestly, it really comes down to whomever is insecure. Are you going to be able to bring that insecurity down? Are you going to be able to open your heart? Because a lot of times, sometimes this can indicate that perhaps our heart is not as open as it should be. And sometimes this can mean that, we might be overly preoccupied with other things going on in our life. And, this can definitely, potentially hurt other people's feelings. And not that it's necessarily, intentional. It's just, we get busy, life, We don't necessarily mean to hurt others. It just, we get preoccupied, with life, with our own situations, with our own problems. And you don't mean to shut others out, but sometimes it can be perceived as that you're shutting someone out of your life, or you're shutting them out emotionally. So we clarify, and we have the Ace of Swords. So typically I love this card, but to each his own. Not everybody likes this card, but I'm a huge fan of I want the whole truth and nothing but. And not everybody agrees. Not everybody wants the whole truth. I want it to be given to me straight. I'd rather it, yeah, it might sting a little bit, but you know what? It stings a little, but in the long run, if you find out, especially through other sources, oh, that's way more painful. At least in my own experience, I would rather know up front. Give it to me straight, let me know what I'm working with. Because I would rather feel a little hurt than to feel a lot more hurt later on. Especially if I gotta find out from another source. But okay, again, the Ace of Swords. I love this sword because this sword is like, it's literally truth penetrating. This sword will slice through any bullshit. Excuse my French, but it will get to the truth of the matter. Now, the Ace of Swords is definitely indicating that you've been given a new start. We have two aces here, the Ace of Cups reverse and now the Ace of Swords. But maybe you're coming on too strong, too forcefully, especially if the other person is the one who is insecure and not as open. Maybe they've been hurt a lot, so it's going to take a while to get them to open up and trust. But with the Ace of Swords, this energy can be very forceful. And so yeah, it's a possibility that someone is being overly pushy. And not that they mean to be, because they probably don't realize that it's affecting you, the way that it has. Or maybe you might be overly forceful and pushy and you don't realize the effect that it's having on the other person. Again, you could be on either end of this, so. But it is a new start, but you do need to take care to not push. Because if you continue to push, you can actually, well, essentially you could push the person away. And you do have to remember this is a sword, so it can cut both ways. So you do not want to be overly forceful, as you could literally cut yourself as well. And, well, you know, that's going to hurt. So, or maybe some of you are trying to force a new start. You know, sometimes the Ace of Cups in reverse can indicate that you might be a bit fearful about starting over in a relationship. So, you know, that could be quite symbolic of, you know, a relationship that you've been in, and perhaps things were not working out as they were. And maybe things have been very, very rocky in this existing relationship. And there's a need to start over. And it is possible to start over and maintain the relationship, as long as both parties are on board with it. You know, but let's make sure that we're not being too forceful about it. So that'll resonate with those that it's supposed to. Okay. Also, you know, this could also be indicating that, especially if you're not in a relationship, that you might have a great desire for something or someone new, but under this particular type of energy, it's something that's not working out, so to speak. But, you know, for those of you who are not in a relationship, you could just be, you know, tired. You're just ready. You're bored. You're ready for something new or someone new, you know. You know, this could be, maybe you want to have someone to be in a romantic relationship with, or maybe you want a friend, you know, maybe you want a platonic type of relationship. It can go either way, you know. I like to throw many different things out here because, again, you know, no, not all Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs are the same. You know, you all want different things. Yes, you guys have certain traits and similarities, but, you know, we're all on our own path or on our own journey, and we all want different things and different people and different experiences, and that's okay, you know. But, you know, if you're battling insecurity, try to be careful. I mean, just, you know, try to do your best to open your heart and trust. Or not, you know, it's totally up to you. I mean, I always want to remind you guys to do what you know is the absolute best for you. You know, regardless of what I say or any other reader says, you must do what you know is right for you at the end of the day. Okay? And only you know what that is. So, always remember that. Like I said, doesn't matter who the reader is, just remember that. Only you know what's best for you in your life. Okay, so this position is your near future. So we have the Queen of Cups. Typically, I classify her as Scorpio, but again, you know, this could be Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. Now, this could actually be someone that you will physically deal with, or this could just be symbolic of your channeling this particular queen's energy. Okay, so she could be an actual person in your life. And also, let me just clarify quickly. This does not have to necessarily be a woman. And that can be confusing for some people. You see king, you see queens, you see knights. So, you know, sometimes we think, okay, well, automatically it's got to be a woman if we see queen. No, not necessarily. Queens are definitely noted for their nurturing abilities. Well, not so much the Queen of Swords, but but typically the queens are like our mothers, you know, they're our nurturers. But, you know, in this day and age, the way things that are, the way they are now, you know, we have same-sex marriage here in America, you know, and sometimes if you have two dads, you know, say one of the dads could potentially be more of a nurturer, you know, so sometimes we get our nurturing from, you know, the other gender. You know, not trying to offend anyone, you know, I'm definitely all about, you know, you have the right to love whoever you want, you know, whether people disagree with me or not, that's fine, but I feel that everyone has the right to choose who they love, you know, regardless of gender. Okay, I'm not trying to make this political. Moving on. Okay, so the Queen of Cups, she has a tendency to make her decisions based off of her intuitions and her feelings rather than using her intellect. Okay. Now, she could potentially be representing your mother or the person you receive nurturing from. This could also be indicating perhaps a person that will be coming into your life in the near future that could have some qualities of this king. They would be very emotional. They would tend to think with their emotions and their intuitions rather than their intellect. But they would very much be a nurturer and someone who likes to encourage growth and development in others, especially on emotional level. Could even be a counselor for some of you. Now we clarify, we get the Three of Coins. Funny, this is the Mars and Capricorn card, which Mars is currently in the sign of Capricorn. Now, the Three of Coins is about working as a team. You're learning a skill, and learning this skill requires you to be on a team, essentially. So, some of you could actually be learning a new skill. Some of you could have recently taken up, you know, some classes, you know, some courses on a particular skill set. Perhaps some of you have decided to change paths that you've been on. Maybe you already have a set skill set that you did quite well with, but perhaps maybe it wasn't fulfilling and maybe you decided you wanted to learn a new skill. Maybe some of you are considering being a counselor, a therapist, a teacher. Possibilities. Now, this is also about working as a team. So, you know, we have to collaborate with others, work together. You know, sometimes this can indicate working at a business that actually has a union. Yes. And this card can also indicate that there could be some recognition, but it would be recognition as a team, as opposed to, you know, personal recognition. But overall, this is about learning a skill. So some of you could potentially be considering going to school. Some of you could already be taking some classes, or you might in the near future. Maybe some of you have already thought about this. Maybe some of you are already doing this, okay? And maybe this Queen of Cups could come in and potentially help you. Okay, so this would be the Attitude card. Now we have the Page of Wands. So this is definitely focused on receiving messages. And these messages tend to have something to do with creative endeavors, projects. They can also be messages of a financial nature. So perhaps you may be waiting on a message that has to do with a job. Quite possibly. But since it's in the upright position, it would definitely be good news. So that is a plus. And then we clarify and we have the Six of Wands. This is really good. So this is a card of victory, essentially. This is one who works very hard, very tirelessly in order to achieve a goal or a dream. And you do it. And you emerge victorious. I mean, look at him. He's like, look at me. Yeah, I did it. I did it. So, you guys might just be feeling pretty victorious. I'm liking that. Love it. Okay, this is how other people would see you. Now we have the Two of Coins in the reverse position. So this would definitely be indicating that you could be receiving some disappointing news on the financial front. This is a strong possibility. Now, this can also be speaking of maybe you're trying to do too much at once. A lot of times when this card comes up in the reverse position like this, it's indicating that we have too many irons in the fire. Just like this man, we are sitting here trying to juggle so many different things. And while you might have the stamina to keep it up for a little while, we can't stay there forever and continue to juggle like this. So eventually we're going to have to put one of these pentacles down. And so this can definitely be pointing to we need to not be trying to take on too many things. We may need to pick one thing so that we can apply more focus and so that we can actually do a better job at it. For instance, this, maybe you have two jobs. This is possible for some of you. Maybe you have two jobs. Maybe at both jobs you're not able to do the work to the best of your ability because maybe you're tired from working two jobs. Now, I can almost hear some of you, well, I'm financially strapped. I get it. I absolutely get it. But sometimes we're just not able to handle both, whether we want to realize it or not. So obviously we would want to, if we have to drop a pentacle here, We want to go after what is the most stable, what is the most structured, which, one is more going to be more fulfilling, that's going to be more rewarding in the long run. If it's about a job, what's going to provide you with benefits, what's going to potentially provide you with a retirement plan. So if it's about a job, you definitely want to pick the job that, is better suited to you and has the better, you know, perks and benefits and whatnot. But, this is definitely indicating that you're trying to take on too much and that you're going to have to put one of those down. Now, this could also be indicating that perhaps maybe you're juggling some finances, so to speak. Maybe you're having a hard time making ends meet, and, maybe you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. So, again, this would be where you may need to choose, which things are going to get paid this month and, what's going to have to wait. So, and also, again, sometimes some disappointing news can come our way. Oh, but here's a bright point. So it's clarified by the sun, which we had right up here. So maybe you guys have taken on a little too much because you're so full of optimism. Maybe things have been going pretty great. Maybe you've been feeling pretty, really good. You've been feeling really optimistic, and maybe it gave you that extra energy or that extra push to, take on another job or whatever it may be. Whatever it is, it's definitely of a financial nature. But the sun, this is also a very optimistic card, so. But I just want to make sure that you guys don't deceive yourselves, I'm loving the attitude that you guys are definitely having this month. I mean, love it, love it, love it. I love the fact that you guys are very optimistic. This makes me very, very happy for you guys. It truly does. But I just want to make sure that you guys are not lying to yourself, The whole saying, not seeing the forest from the tree. So, we definitely want to be looking at the larger picture, the grand scheme of things, as opposed to focusing on one or two things right now. So, I just want to make sure that, if we can prevent a failure of things working out, let's prevent it, Be realistic and honest with yourself, Can you really keep juggling all of these different things that you're juggling? You may need to pick. Just don't lose the optimism. Keep the optimism coming. I'm loving it. Okay, so this would be the category of hopes or fears. Now, I'm definitely going to classify this as a fear because I don't see any Pisces really wishing for this. I mean, maybe, but, I really doubt it. So, Ten of Cups, this is our happily ever after card, our contentment, our emotional joy and contentment card. But it's in the reverse position, so this is definitely indicating a lack of contentment, a lack of emotional contentment. This is not receiving our happily ever after. This is things are a mess in our home, our family life is upset. Things are not going well. Things in the house are breaking, There could be structural problems with the house. A marriage could be falling apart, We could be at odds with our kids. I don't see any Pisces wishing for this, so I'm going to classify it as a fear. Okay, to clarify, we have the Queen of Wands in the reverse position, so I automatically look at the Queen of Wands in reverse, and she is the aggressive side of this Queen when she is in the reverse position. When she's in the upright position, she is very, very dominant. She has a very commanding presence. Even when she doesn't want the attention, she can walk into a room and she will automatically grab the attention of others, even if she doesn't want it. She just has a very commanding presence. Now, when she's in the reverse position, she's definitely gone through a loss of some sort, and so this makes her react rather aggressively. Or one could say she's being a bit bossy, a bit pushy. Yeah. It's not the good side of her personality at all. So yeah, overly aggressive, you know. So I'm going to classify this as fear, and fear. Okay, so this would be the final outcome. We have the Two of Cups in the reverse position. So this is definitely disharmony within a relationship. Okay, now for those of you who are not in a romantic relationship, just let me clarify that this could be indicating that there are some issues within a relationship, and this relationship does not have to be one of a romantic nature. Now, I mean, it definitely looks like it's a romantic nature because, look at them about to kiss and go to town, I totally get it, but this could be a platonic friendship, relationship. So this can be romantic or platonic. It can go either way. All right? Okay. Now, typically when this card comes up in the reverse position, especially if you are in a romantic relationship, this can be a relationship where, there could be a lot of passion and, things just kind of need to be kept in check, so that you don't go overboard. But a lot of times, and more times than not, when this card comes up, one person in the relationship is definitely coming to a crossroads and wondering, should I break it off? Now, it doesn't mean that the relationship is doomed or cursed, because that's not the case. If both parties really want the relationship to work, as long as they're both willing to put the work in to fix what is wrong, it can be saved. But both people have to be in agreement, and both people have to want the same thing, so therein lies the problem sometimes. Now, this relationship is definitely out of balance. So a lot of times I associate this as someone is doing more of the giving and the other person is just taking. And so the give is not equal to the take. Sometimes we feel like we're not receiving any reciprocity back from the other person. So it can be pretty disheartening. Again, like I said, it doesn't mean that it's all doom and gloom, but it can head that way. But again, both parties have to want the same thing and be on the same page, so to speak. But there's definitely a disharmony there. Now we clarify, and we have the Three of Swords in the reverse position. So, maybe something happened with a third party type of situation that could have occurred, say, maybe in the past. This is definitely a card of separation and heartbreak, pain. Now, with it being in the reverse position, it definitely shows that the pain has lessened. It's almost like we're healing from the incident. So there could have been, a pretty big sized misunderstanding. They could have been, pretty hurtful. And this could have potentially been what caused the disharmony within the relationship. Perhaps maybe you feel like the other person, maybe you feel like they were being a bit cruel. Maybe you might feel like they were abandoning you. But overall, you will definitely feel like, that they were hurting you. Or the other person may feel that you hurt them. This can go either way. But, the Two of Cups definitely remains the same. There is disharmony within a relationship. And it can be brought back into balance, but do you have the trust? Or are you going to allow insecurity to take control? Also, if this person hurt you, are you able to forgive and get past that? You need to be honest with yourself. Don't lie to yourself, okay? And again, this could be a relationship that was one that is actually romantic, or this could be a platonic relationship. This could be a friendship. And if it's a friendship, then, it would be a friendship with someone that you have a very special connection with. Of course, it may not feel so special, when this occurs, but, it would be someone that you definitely have history with. It could even be a family member. Now, for the bottom of the deck, we have the Strength card in the reverse position. So this definitely indicates that fear is getting the upper hand, okay? Instead of relying on the inner strength and having faith and knowing that everything's going to work out, fear gets the upper hand when strength is in the reverse position. So you really need to try to refocus your thoughts the best that you can. You don't want to let fear paralyze you, okay? Because fear will keep you in the same spot. And that's no good. We don't want to be a hamster on a wheel, just running, but yet we're not getting anywhere. Maybe you fear that you're going to get hurt. But the thing here is if we tend to focus our thoughts on something and we give fear the upper hand on us, if you're constantly thinking, oh, I don't want to get hurt, oh, I don't want to get, you can create a self-fulfilling prophecy. Not that you meant to, but the thing here is if you're focusing on something, you're going to attract to you what is predominantly your focus. Whatever's predominantly in your mind, you can literally manifest. So if you're constantly fearing that something's going to go wrong in your relationship, well, you can actually turn that into a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you can make the very thing happen that you've been afraid of. So this is where you really may need to police your thoughts. Get rid of that fear. Don't let the fear have the upper hand on you. Now, occasionally this can indicate that perhaps you're trying to make your point to someone, and you might become a bit physical in trying to prove your point. And if that happens to resonate with you, you need to know and realize that you can make your point through understanding, compassion, and love. That's the best way to make your point, and it will be well received if you do it that way. But trying to be physical to get your point of view across to someone, it doesn't work. It can backfire, okay? But you can get your point across through love and compassion and understanding, you know? And again, take control of that fear, because you don't want fear controlling you. Some, nasty things can pop up when we let fear take the wheel, so to speak, So, get rid of that fear, Pisces. You gotta exercise that shit like it's a damn demon. Get it up out of your life, It's gotta go. Gotta go. So it's clarified by the Ace of Cups in reverse yet again. So maybe your relationship difficulties are no doubt because of you allowing fear to get the upper hand. Maybe you are insecure about getting hurt in a relationship. But the more that you focus on that, the more that you give power to it. Now, I'm not saying you don't have reasons to be insecure, but you need to realize that the more that you give your energy to, this particular insecurity, you're giving it more power. And you're giving fear the upper hand. So don't do that. Maybe you need to be somewhat like the Fool and take a leap of faith. Have faith. Trust that things will work out. But again, do what you know is best for you at the end of the day. Like I said, regardless of what any reader tells you, you got to do what's best for you at the end of the day. And for some of you who are actually psychic and you're very aware that you're psychic, you could be having issues with your abilities right now. You may be feeling very, very blocked. And the reason you are feeling blocked is because A, fear has the upper hand. And B, your insecurity. You're not able to trust your own feelings, so this would be the block. So if you are experiencing those psychic difficulties, this is why. You need to get your emotions together, and you need to police your thoughts and get rid of that fear. Don't allow fear have the upper hand, okay? You need to know that you're the one in control. You're the one in command. Don't allow fear to take the wheel, like I said, okay? Okay, I have love oracle cards. These are for my Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs that are single. So, first one is getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. So, yeah, it definitely seems that some of the single Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Risings, you're already talking to someone that you're very interested in and revealing, bits and pieces about yourself, and they're doing the same. Let your friends help you. Ask for and accept support from others. And that's actually good advice, All these emotional situations, things can get sticky, and it's not weak to ask for help, it's okay. And then you deserve love. You are lovable. And that's the truth. So don't tell yourself any differently. You do deserve love. Allow yourself to be loved. If that's what you want, Not every Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising sign actually wants to be in a relationship. So, again, personal choices. We're all on our own journey, so we don't always want the same thing. Okay, this is for the Pisces Sun, Moon, and Rising signs that are in a relationship or married. So, first card, codependency. Addictions are affecting your romantic life. And I'm pretty sure I definitely spoke of addictions at least, I know at least once, but I'm thinking twice. But y'all get it. Yeah. Okay. So, the second one, engagement. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. So, this would definitely be speaking of, especially if you are in a relationship, and maybe things have just been pretty chill for a little while. But this is definitely the type of card that is prepping you for moving to a higher level. But this is something that unfolds over time. So it can be different for each person. This might unfold, within a couple of months, or it might be a year from now. But yes, you can definitely look forward to this, some of you. You'll know more where you fall into line on which particular cards. Okay, yeah, and this one, separation. So time apart from your lover is on the horizon. So this can be temporary. This can be like a temporary separation, temporary break, for each other to breathe and to, recover, recuperate, take a break, get their thoughts and, whatnot into order. Now, this can be an actual separation where, okay, things are just not working out, let's be done. Or this could be indicating that you may not actually separate, but you will be separated. Say, maybe your significant other may have to go traveling for work. So your significant other could end up traveling, as a part of their job. Or maybe they have a family responsibility that comes up that takes them out of town for a little while. And so, this could definitely be indicating a temporary type of separation as well. Not one that, would be ending of relationship. It can, for some of you, be pointing to that. But for some of you, this is temporary. It's just, someone has some obligations they have to deal with. And for, some of it, this could be you. Or this could be your significant other. Okay. Keep your head up, Pisces, okay? And don't be so insecure. It's going to be okay. And get control of that fear. Take control of your life because you got to. You don't want fear driving your life for you. That's just no way to live. Have faith that things are going to work out. Don't fall into that insecurity trap, okay? We don't want you being insecure. And I don't want you guys allowing fear to get the upper hand and potentially ruin, something that could be good for you. So I don't want you to, create a self-fulfilling prophecy. So like I said, if you have to, exercise that fear out of your mind like it's a demon if you have to. Just get rid of it, Demand, that the fear has to go. You're in control. You're the one that has the power, okay? So you need to realize that and take back control of this is your life. It does not belong to fear unless you allow it to, okay? So take back the control. Take the reins in, okay? You guys got this. And you're going to be alright. I know it's a bumpy month. It really is. But it's going to get better. It will. Okay. I love you guys, and I will talk to you next month. And I'm sending you blessings of healing, prosperity, and love. I'll talk to you next month. Bye-bye.